Here's the bottom line, and I've had calf strains. You know it when you do it. You know when it's something that it's not like you're done and it's like, oh, my leg feels a little weird. You know when you've stepped, and you feel that grab. And as Peter King points out in Football Morning in America, 3 MRIs for Andrew Luck. They still don't know when this is going to resolve. They don't know when he's going to practice again. And it's just a real question. For a guy who answered all questions last year in a phenomenal way, best season of his career, and we thought these injury issues are behind him for good. Now we have a new one. And, Chris, you've been saying all along that the fact that this thing's still there, the fact that it won't go away, there's something else going on that's causing this to happen. And, this segment is about big question marks. And I think the biggest question mark right now is hovering over Andrew Luck.
It's certainly one of them. I mean, I think, the Colts are one of those teams we're all going, oh, they're going to be in the playoffs this year. They're probably the leader in the clubhouse right now to win the AFC South, right? I mean, they got to be on the short list of teams that we probably would all put as far as Super Bowl contenders in the AFC, like legitimate Super Bowl contenders. That is a huge blow to their football team if Andrew Luck cannot play as early on in the season dealing with this calf injury. But it's a big question mark. Like I said earlier in the show, I'm not real concerned yet, but this is concerning that it's continuing to linger. 3 MRIs. The more you see about it, it just, you wonder how long this is going to drag on. And the fact that he's not going to practice at all again this week, that is a little bit troubling, and we're getting in some dangerous territory.
Other quarterbacks with injury question marks as we approach the 2019 regular season. Carson Wentz, who's been injured each of the last 2 Decembers, and Nick Foles has had to come in and save the day for the Eagles and deliver a Super Bowl championship. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, who has not played much football in his career, has gotten paid a lot of money by the 49ers. He's got to prove not just that he's healthy, he's got to prove that he is a guy who can win and perform well on a week-in and week-out basis, or after this season, it could be no more Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's right. They can get out of this deal this year. It's a very weird situation, Garoppolo. He was built up to be this, oh, gosh, he's so great, all this, but we really don't know what he is yet. That's what's amazing, that the guy got a $27.5 million a year contract with just playing 10 football games. So it is. It's a huge year for Jimmy Garoppolo in a lot of ways, and the San Francisco 49ers organization in general. But, the quarterback questions, they're real. I mean, like you said, Garoppolo, Wentz, Cam Newton dealing with the shoulder injury. How is that going to play out as we continue to go along? There's just when stats send this last night as far as our rundown, question marks in the NFL season, I mean, my list just continued to go and go and go. I mean, quarterbacks, there's questions all over the league. Eli Manning, Drew Brees, we could get into that, right? I mean, head coaching questions, all the unproven commodities.
Well, let's focus. Let's focus on the coaches. I know. Let's focus on the quarterbacks for now, though.
Yeah.
You mentioned Drew Brees.
Right.
Look, it's just a given now because Tom Brady's playing well and he's 2 years beyond his 40th birthday that, hey, everybody can do it now if they want to.
Yeah.
There were indications last year that Drew Brees doesn't have it physically like he used to. We've talked about this many times. Taysom Hill coming in and throwing the deep balls. Drew Brees, the first play of the divisional round game against the Eagles, they had it dialed up, deep ball to 10 again. He underthrew it, possibly because he couldn't get any more on it. These are things that we need to watch, and at a minimum, it's a fair question mark. The question may be resolved along the lines of Drew Brees is still Drew Brees, but at least for now, it's fair to ask the question, and it's fair to watch and wait and see how it goes for Brees.
Yeah, that's right. It's fair to ask the question about a guy who's, making $27 million a year and is an NFL legend, a first-ballot Hall of Famer. It's not like a disrespect to his career. He's the man. Couldn't have greater respect for Drew Brees and everything he's done in the NFL career. But the facts of the situation is he had 3 games under 180 yards passing last year. He became a little Charlie checkdown-ish, Mike. He might have won the title last year. I mean, he was tied with Eli as far as intended air yards. Those are things that are concerning to me when you're 28th in football with intended air yards. And then, you're 31st in football with the longest completion downfield, added to the fact when they really wanted to throw the ball down the field, they brought in Taysom Hill. So, those questions are legitimate this year, and it's not disrespect to Brees or his legacy.
You mentioned coaches, and there are some unproven commodities. Freddie Kitchens, who a year ago was the running backs coach in Cleveland, and no one would have put him on a watch list for head coaching hires for 2019. He's got that huge weight of expectations. They had over 37,000 people at a scrimmage on Saturday. Ton of excitement in Cleveland, but with that excitement comes a very high bar. And it's going to be, that's the exact opposite of Cliff Kingsbury, who is also completely unproven, Chris. But the expectations for the Cardinals are minimal.
Yeah.
In Cleveland, they couldn't be any higher.
No, it couldn't be higher. I mean, it's almost to the point where I feel like they expect playoffs. If they don't go to the playoffs, they're going to be disappointed. I think the reality is they're going to be very much in the playoff conversation the last 1 or 2 weeks of the year. But there's too many things we just don't know about the team, the coaches, everything about it right now. We got to see them play some football. So, yeah, it's a work in progress, but we're all extremely excited because of what we saw at the end of last year. And we know the team has a ton of talent, especially on both sides of the ball.
And how about the Jets? The expectations for the Jets are fairly low, but the idea that Adam Gase and Greg Williams may not ultimately mix well and maybe things get a little feisty and cantankerous, and maybe that'll be good for the Jets, who knows? But that's one that's very interesting to me.
Well, yes, it is. And so is Rodgers and LaFleur.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.